We are, of course, Rifkin and Zombie, joined now by Fear Dragon, the newest addition to Base Trade TV. Say hey real quick so people know what you sound like, man.
Hey, this is what I sound like.
Nailed it. I'd give that a 5 out of 5. Spawning here in the top right side of Dusk Towers, it's going to be the orange Protoss player, HuK.
And in the bottom side, we have the blue Zerg player, viOLet.
I feel like a lot of these tricasts are just going to be like, who feels more awkward about this silence to fill that gap of like the other intro.
I have a system.
I know,
Unless
Zarma,
you tell us.
yeah, Zarma
to
actually,
go.
she'll wait. She'll like rotate it. She's pretty good like that.
Yeah. So it was your
One
turn.
of these days, Zombie Grub and I are just going to play chicken on this for like a solid 10 to 25 seconds.
I'm actually going to wait for that one time where it's like, okay, and oh no, no.
I remember you purposefully did that once. I don't like a year, like with HuK TriCasting or something like that. Like, I remember that so well. You do shit like that.
All right, so HuK and viOLet have not played each other in the brackets yet today. Kind of surprising because we did have HuK play Hydra earlier, but viOLet got knocked out, I'd say surprisingly early, to Kelazur. We got to watch that, and he's been fighting in the losers bracket since then. Just defeated State, so his ZvP's not looking too bad.
I actually so State did not look strong against viOLet, but viOLet did not look strong against Kelazur. Hydra looks strong against everyone, and HuK looks strong against Hydra. So,
Yo, I'm already
in my
lost.
mind,
I feel like you just threw the Pokemon triangle, and then all I could understand was that Hydra was Mewtwo and counters everybody.
the point is, I think HuK actually has a really good chance here. Like, he looks so strong against Hydra, and I think Hydra's a better player right now than viOLet.
I would actually agree with that statement. The non-confusing end of it, at least. Because, again, he was doing a lot of cool things. Whether it was like the gateways and like the way Hydra parried against him for that, or whether it was like just putting the first pylon in his mineral line and not dying to early pools. I will say that HuK has been looking pretty good. And the thing I like about him, and this has been true about HuK for a long time, regardless of all jokes you guys know, like top 3 control, her, and this, that, HuK's strength has always seemed to come from like the mid game, less the late game, less the early game, but his mid game has always been really good. And Legacy of the Void has made that even better for players who like doing things like Warp Prism Harass or faster Dark Shrines and you name it. First blood. Oh, missed, what died? Overlord died on the side of the map, my bad.
You know, when you take away his 7-gate all-in, he has to try something else.
Wow.
Whoa. Oh, cool, those Jet Zombie Grub.
Like, jokes aside, he was at one point, like, just, like, you know, kind of lost in StarCraft 2. He was doing a lot of all-ins that just weren't working as well as they, you know, used to back in his heyday in Wings of Liberty, and, I'm really happy that the NA scene overall is looking a lot healthier, and no, I'm not going to contribute it to the WCS changes, because it's only been like 2 months, so shut up, everyone. But just, I don't know, Legacy of the Void has given me a lot more hope for these guys.
Absolutely. I mean, especially when you have players like Semper and everything coming up. I feel like Semper is a really good example of a player who really hit his stride in Legacy of the Void.
He did, and then he met a girl, and then kind of like...
Isn't that everyone's story?
plummeted.
Not the old cliche.
Well,
I will
how do
say
you think he
this.
met the girl? He met the girl because of his StarCraft skills that he inherited in Legacy of the
Okay,
Void.
That's true.
Shush. What I really actually like, speaking of Semper, HuK and Semper still my favorite game cast in Legacy of the Void so far. We've had a lot of fun games, a lot of crazy cheese games, but HuK versus Semper in the beta was still one of the best of 3s we got to cast.
Yeah.
Girls, whatever.
I don't understand. Like, if I was a girlfriend to a StarCraft pro, I would be like, no, we can't hang out. You're supposed to train. Like, you're going to win.
You need to get
Like,
your
what
shit
are you
together.
doing?
You could withhold sex to make them the best player in the world. Like, if you don't win this tournament, you're sleeping alone on that couch for a full week.
And you're not going to get consoled either afterwards.
Yes. Actually, I think that would be...
stare at you disapprovingly.
I swear, I'll be the
harsh.
best, I promised.
God damn.
And then, like, if they really get defiant, they're like, whatever, I don't need you. Usually you bring their mom and get them involved, too. Like, oh, your mom's gonna be disappointed in you as well. So you're gonna be 2 women in your life just gone.
Holy shit.
Oh my god.
I am harsh.
Well, we got Adept Resonating Glaives coming up over here from HuK, so it
Right.
looks like he wants to go for a big Adept pressure.
But this thing over here, the Skyfish.
Finger.
So he's gonna kill overlords
as-
with this, and it's gonna, I guess, kind of work akin to somewhat what we see a Viking do in Terran. But you just don't see this Void Ray so commonly anymore. It's something that gets made once in a while as like a desperation thing. But oh, the Adept's gonna good cancel. He can lift up the Queen and actually kill it with the Void Ray. It's kind of funny. Yay! Oh, it's a little too close to this pork probably though.
Oh yeah, I don't think you can really eat it up.
The Ling counterattack is gonna actually find HuK a little bit undefended, but there's photon overcharges. He could warp in to fill up that gap. This shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, viOLet really contemplating whether that would be worth it or not disengages.
Ooh, HuK won 2-1 versus Pulse.
Oh damn!
Oh.
What?
Pulse
Pulse.
out.
Go Puck! Puck versus Kelazur on the other side of this. Depending how fast this series goes, we might catch game 2 or 3, but we're not holding that game because that's not a qualifying match. However, the winner of this and the winner of that will play the qualifying game. So at this point, it's Puck and Kelazur versus either HuK versus viOLet. That's not what I would have expected seeing Pult in these brackets.
Yeah. See him, go through first, but not so.
Well, maybe Pult is like adapting the Ricky Bobby mentality. If you ain't first, you last.
Yeah, probably.
All right, the Adepts are going to get caught a little bit here in the middle of the map. Unfortunately, but it's not got the numbers to engage this. HuK has continued to make more Phoenix, which is a bit funny because normally you see the opener of the Phoenix and then you stop the production later, doing it a little bit in reverse. But killing Overlords, quite a few Overlords this game have actually gone down. Total 5.
Oh, he's gonna go on top of these Hydras.
He can take this fight too. These Queens are they're chipping away at the Phoenix. That's annoying, but the Hydras can't really deal with the Adepts super easily. That bonus damage versus Light a little too strong, but looks like the reinforcements are going to be enough. I think the trade here for HuK, though, despite being significantly down in army supply coming off the back end of it, he kills a lot of Hydras, which are way more expensive than Adepts.
It is a little worrying. Of course, viOLet not pushing out yet. He's waiting for the Lurker Den, and he doesn't have any cover for the Hydras right now. The Lings died, and he never got a Roach Warren, so pure Ling Hydra Lurker. But HuK was down like half the army supply, still is. His Robo's trying to pump out Immortals as quick as possible, and he's getting now that big burst of Gateway production.
So Fear Dragon,
yeah, until he
also...
gets...
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, until he gets like those next round of Warpins, though, like he's sitting on effectively a like skeleton crew of an army, and the push is coming in from viOLet already.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're also Protoss on top of being a big NA fan. Oh, what do you think is like the best option for HuK in this situation? I mean, this is looking pretty, frankly, dire.
I think if he can separate out the Lurkers away from the Hydralists as well as the Zergons with some good force tools, because he does have a couple of those sentries warped in. I mean, you can get some great photon overcharges out. He has a decent number of these pylons set up over his natural expansion. This can still go okay for him, but he really needs to make sure those Lurkers don't get involved in the fight.
The Immortal count, once it builds up, can certainly deal with them, but 2 is going to be rough. They do advance forward. Force fields, unfortunately, won't push these back. They're burrowed. Barrier getting triggered on 2 of the Immortals already as well. That's going to be a 50, 45-second cooldown.
Yeah, still has a couple of photon overcharges left over, though, and he can start to pop some of these, but viOLet's honestly just trying to bait them out, I think, right now.
Also worried that if HuK does manage to push this back, a couple of Lieutenant Archons is a pretty cool idea, that there is a Spire on the way. I don't know if he's thinking about that. So a couple of Phoenixes, he's already started, if that is going to be a Mulus transition.
Oh, he might be able to hold these in position, actually. The Graviton beams on the Lurkers to crowd control a lot of them. He takes out the Hydras, and now the Immortals can break through this. Revelation falls off any second, though. He could lose detection on the front lines.
That's lost detection for that one Lurker. That's a little odd.
Awkward.
Oops, that easy.
Wait, how did he tag every Lurker but that one?
Just lucky, I guess. There's the rest of his army.
So the hallucinations were exceptionally cool because they will soak a lot of hits. Like, even though they're fake, the Archons have a lot of shields. CK Walsh donates $5. He says, welcome to Base Trade TV, Fear Dragon. Ravi picks who to nerf.
I'm gonna nerf Terran.
Oh,
nerf
you
Terran.
dumb son of a bitch. You're fired.
Get out.
It was worth it.
That actually makes Terran up to $128 nerfed. Oh no.
Yes. All right.
Whatever.
But Spire finishes up right now. viOLet seeing, okay, I guess there are still a couple of those Phoenixes available, and as well as the fact that he's about to deal with this big push in, doesn't really have time to make use of it right now. This is such an awkward angle to push in for HuK.
Yeah, I like the trying to take advantage of the high ground. If you get rid of that Overlord, you'd actually be able to sit here for a very long time. But the range on the Immortals apparently is good enough to really just wreck these Hydras one at a time. viOLet,
So
what are you doing?
What's really funny is that he abused his position differently versus Hydra in the series just 2 series ago,
Yeah.
and he overstayed his welcome, and there's some cool changeling usage too. I think he's playing a lot smarter. He's actually changing out the Immortals, so he sent out all of the Immortals on top, sent out all of his army on that tower.
Yeah.
This is a lot better. I like this little fix between series.
The thing about what happened with Hydra, though, I mean, the changelings are really cool, and I want to keep like going back to that. But he did move all the lurkers to the side of the cliff, and that 13 range was hard to contest. Ooh. Speaking of which, this Revelation knows that this army's coming. He's got some real Archons this time around, which is nice.
Yeah, that revelation was so important to make this kind of high ground attack work, just because otherwise the army very easily gets kind of cornered and trapped and suddenly can't get out. But having that revelation on the army consistently has really allowed him to really abuse this and just outposition viOLet.
10 drones died through this too, by the way. Like, this is the sickest Immortal res. Alright, looking to push up. There's those lurkers getting that burrow off. He does have a couple of them tagged with Revelation, but the Phoenix aren't going to be able to reach in and grab with so many Hydras up.
Oh, this is a pretty good concave for HuK now, and he does go in for the lurkers with the Phoenixes, and it's actually going to go in his favor quite well.
He focuses fires down all the lurkers. The Immortals just do so much damage to them. That barrier ability keeps them alive a lot longer than they should have. Hydra's still got more viOLet's got more Hydras coming up next, but I don't know. That army took down a lot of the lurkers, and that was a very expensive loss for viOLet. I mean, look at the resources lost right now.
Yeah, HuK needs to pull back to these reinforcements, though. He starts to lose a couple of those Immortals. He needs to keep this going, and he has a lot of Adepts that are being warped in, but there are a lot of Adepts sitting as 4th expansion that aren't moving. These 4 or 5 Adepts, oh man, I feel like they could have been such an absolute boon to this army.
Yeah, he's going to recall. That's probably the best choice in this situation. I like that a lot. Yeah, one of the things about Immortals that makes them so powerful is they don't have energy like Sentries, obviously, but they're still time-based on their effectiveness, whereas an Sentry is gathering energy over time. The Immortal's just waiting for its barrier cooldown to come off. That's an extra 200 shields. But, ooh, these lurkers actually getting a good spot for a bit of payback.
Yeah, very abusive here. And there's not a lot of probes to kill, but it's obviously just denying mining in general is nice. This game is still very even. viOLet on a lot of drones on 5 bases. Still hasn't done anything with his Spire and has not gone up to Hive.
Oh, I forgot to open Mr. Boris Makarov's giveaway. I'm going to put the camera on you for a sec so I'm going to go do that raffle.
Oh, he's with the late warning. That's double. So this is a very, both players have a very nice army, but honestly, HuK has the better one. Actually, you can see it in the army supply right now. viOLet losing out on 2 armies, I guess, really made him hesitant to try and transfer the tech, you know, and advance the tech. And as such, sure, he has a decent hold potentially. He doesn't actually have the right units you would want at this stage. Of course, I mean, like Broodlords or even Vipers or even Infestors to add on here. And HuK should take a pretty decent fight. He's not going to go for the Adept transfer.
Yeah, he has to be really careful because not only is he engaging into the lurkers potentially, he's also going to be engaging into a lot of the spore crawlers, even the spine crawler in the mix. But the spore crawlers can really easily snipe off one of those observers if he's not careful. He has to kind of tread lightly in how he approaches this. Ooh, this angle though.
Yeah, this might have been a good one. The lurkers do instant reposition, but the HuK's army could just like... It's always so surprising what the Protoss army, which is lacking now the Colossus and then the Disruptors, those big units can actually do. Like, this is still a very chunky built buff army.
But we got Storms this time around. I'm really happy about this. So this is, of course, lacking in the previous 2 Protosses we watched when fighting against things like Hydralisks. Long and gone are the days of Colossus being really even a good answer, much less a viable answer. Storms have become a much bigger necessity. Oh my god.
Oh. Archons, get out of there. Oh, this is a really awkward angle for HuK. He's going to try and make this into a concave as viOLet tries to go through the choke point.
He's too slow to run away from this. This is the problem. He like, has to take that concave. The lurkers, at least, are going to have a harder time advancing than HuK will retreating, but gets to the top of this cliff. And once again, there's some cannons here, but the 13 range on these lurkers should fare pretty well. I get overcharged as well.
Reach. It's not going to do so much, and the lurkers are going to have to back off.
That looks so weird.
Pretty good.
Well, HuK continuing his own immortal harassment at the top of the viOLet space.
Both of them are really taking great advantage of the towers here on Dusk Towers. We'll get to the donation in a moment. Thank you, CK Walsh, for the $10, though. Backing away from this, the Corrosive Biles and the Hydras are just combination too much. Like, this is an army from viOLet that should beat out HuK's without question.
Oh, this is really awkward. He's gonna end up losing like quite a few of these units. He has some of these high templars though, and they do have storms.
Oh, the storms are real!
Oh god, they're very scary. 24 Mutalisks is also pretty damn real. The Phoenix is just still alive, but there's only 4 of them. They're getting chipped away right here. They're not going to see the Mutas, and HuK is of course way too focused on defending this push.
Yo, the thing is though, if he's got a couple of storms in the back pocket and an Archon or two, those Mutas could fall into a really terrible position and just get wrecked. He does start up Phoenix production once again, which is fairly important, but you're right, those Mutas are meant to completely catch him off guard, but with things like cannons on mass and potential Archons, we'll see if it actually does. That donation, by the way, from CK Walsh says, "Never mind, you suck for your dragon. Nerf toss." Yes!
Wow.
CK Walsh!
So right. Jeez.
Now our favorite.
Oh god, this is a terrible situation. HuK loses all of his Phoenix and is gonna lose his Stargate as well at the same time. viOLet sits at the top of his ramp, and HuK's most important and honestly only real mining base is completely shut down.
Oh, the Mothership Core doesn't even get the overcharges off that she had been waiting so diligently on.
And
A base trade. I don't even think he can base trade because the anti-air here is not strong enough.
It's nothing. It's like storms do not count.
Well, I mean, maybe
if dodge the storms.
If viOLet fucks up.
He just sits inside a storm.
Oh no!
Oh Jesus!
The suicide storms!
Oh god, they end up getting pretty
He
good.
killed his own observers. He killed his own observers with the storms.
Oh no!
So good.
GG.
GG.
viOLet will
One
take the
fight,
first
man.
game. Wow. Oh, that.
One fight and then everything spiraled downwards.
But well, if
Just
we
like
can.
weed.